Hello everybody, Rogue Fox here, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition Redstone tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to make an easy, yet challenging, dunk tank. The target block is one of the new blocks that will be coming out in the Nether update in 1.16 for Bedrock Edition, and in my opinion, this is one of the most fun blocks that I've ever played with, especially when it comes to redstone. So I do have a little mock-up right here. For those who don't know, depending on where you hit the target, that will determine the redstone output. So of course, the further out you are from the bullseye, you are going to get less of a redstone output. And then of course, the closer you get, you are going to get a stronger redstone output going all the way up to 15. Now, the cool thing about this, we can use arrows, we can use a trident, we can use eggs, we can use snowballs, and I don't know how that block got there, but these are some of the items that we can use. We can also use dispensers to dispense potions, ender pearls. I believe I read llama spit was also an option. So with that, this is going to be a very fun addition to the game, and that got me thinking, what could we make with this new target block? Of course, the first idea that came to mind was a dunk tank, and that's because dunk tanks have been around in Minecraft for a while now, and they used to look something like this, where you would have your target where you're decorated, you'd have your person that you're dropping into the dunk tank, and because it was back then, the only choice that we had was using an arrow with a wooden button, and then we did get tridents, which I believe also worked on wooden buttons, so if we try it, yeah, we would get our dunk, and that would pretty much be the end of it. You'd have to go retrieve your tridents, or back then your arrow, reset, and that would be that. I mean, it was all good, but now we have the target block. So let's take a look at what I made. I would like to introduce to you the new and improved dunk tank. Again, we are using the target block, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is going to be a bit more challenging with the way I set it up. So let's go ahead, we're going to use the arrow, we're going to take a couple shots. So let's say we hit there, nothing. We can shoot a little bit closer, nothing. We're just going to hit different spots of the target. Again, we are getting a redstone output based off of where we hit it, but I set this up to where you actually needed to hit a bullseye in order for this to work. So let's see if we can get it here. Got it. And again, the target block is going to let off a pulse, so you can see the trapdoor open, and then immediately it closed back up, even though we still have the arrows in the target. Unlike over here where this would stay in until we remove the arrow. Well, definitely didn't want to press it, but let's go ahead. We're going to shoot it, and that would retract. And again, it wouldn't go back to where it needed to be until we actually walked over to get the arrow out. So with the target block, you can see arrows are still in. It resets, and let's go ahead and just demonstrate it one more time. And that is how precise you need to be with this. Again, needing a bullseye. Wow. Go ahead so I can see the target better. There we go. So we get the pulse, it opens and closes. And again, we can use a trident. Again, need to be very precise. We can use eggs. And wow, I made this. Hey, chicken. And we actually made this very, very challenging. And the cool part about this is that we can adjust the difficulty, and I will show you how to do it later on in the tutorial. But let's go ahead and take a look at how to make it. To make this dunk tank, you are going to need a 7x4 area. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our supplies. And there we go. There are all the supplies we need for today's build. And you'll notice we don't really need a lot of redstone. All we need is a target block, one comparator, one lever, 2 redstone dust, 1 repeater, and then a trap door. And for the decoration, this is all up to you how you want it to look. But if you want to make what I made here today, I am using 8 yellow concrete, 16 light blue concrete, 4 glass blocks, 12 iron bars, and then 2 buckets of water for my water source, and then of course a ladder for whoever's in there to get out. With that being said, if you want to pause the video, go ahead and do that, grab your supplies, and then we'll jump right into the build. To get things started, what we're going to do is build up our target area. So let's go ahead, we're going to come over to these right 3 blocks over here, go a block back, and lay down your first layer of decoration blocks. Then go ahead and place the target block right on top of the center one, like this, and then surround the target block with the rest of your decoration blocks. Once that's done, let's go ahead and come around to the back side here. We want to place a block right there. So behind the target block and down one, grab your comparator, run your comparator out from the target block like this. And then what we want to do is run that comparator into a block right here. On these two blocks, place down blocks like this. On the back one, throw down your lever. And on this left one, to the side of the comparator, throw down redstone dust. So you will see the line coming out from the lever and into the side of the comparator. And then what we want to do is flip it. So this is set up now to be a bullseye only, as I mentioned in the beginning. And as I also mentioned, I will show you how to change the difficulty on this. But for now, let's go ahead and keep it to being a bullseye only. After that, the only thing left for redstone is placing two blocks like this, redstone dust here, and then repeater. And believe it or not, that is the redstone all finished. There is a top view of it. Now all we need to do is place in the water tank and set up our trapdoor. To set up the dunk tank or the water tank, what we're going to do is place two blocks like this and two blocks on top. And this repeater is going to power this block here. So what we can do is place our trapdoor right there. So that is all set up and ready to go. And then from here, all we do is build up the rest of our tank. So again, you can make this look however you like. I'm just making it look like this. Glass blocks here so we can see inside the tank, and then buckets of water so we can do one here, one there. That will make it a water source. And I'm only going to leave this one block high. That way there is a gap to fall in. And then of course, I keep forgetting the ladder. We want to place our ladder right there so we can actually get out. And then we can go ahead and place in our iron bars here. Run these across like this. And there we go. That is the dunk tank all set up. So let's go ahead and give it a test. Now we know this works with a bow and arrow as I demonstrated earlier. And again, this is set up to be a bullseye only. So there we go. And as I demonstrated earlier, we can shoot other areas. That is not going to trigger the redstone. And now let's go ahead and try to use it with a trident. I was having trouble earlier, but there you go. You can see we can hit it with the trident if we get a bullseye. Again, off to the side or anything like that, or close, let's say right there, nothing. And then snowballs. I feel like snowballs are a little bit more difficult. And I guess that would make it, yeah, that'd make it really challenging. Let's see how close we have to get to actually, oh, there we go. You have to aim up a little bit. So I'm actually aiming above the target to hit it. So you can imagine if you're back here, snowballs are definitely going to be more difficult. Now that we see how that works, let's go ahead and look at how to change up the difficulty. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how to change up the difficulty. Again, the target block, wherever we hit it, that is going to determine the redstone output. So as I keep mentioning, the closer we get to the center, we are going to get a stronger output. And even though that looked pretty close, it's in the red. It only gives us an output of 14. And again, we have this set to be set for bullseye, so like that. And that is fully powered. So we know how that works. Now, again, if we flip this lever, and this is set up the way we have in the build, if we do this, you can see we are not getting a redstone output, even though we are hitting the target. And again, without it, we hit the same spot. We would be getting an output. It looks like, I'm not quite sure where that's at. It's out there quite a bit. About 7, 8, 9. Either way, when we flip it, of course, nothing until we actually hit a bullseye. So there we go. So even if we get very close, nothing at all. Now to change difficulty, what we're going to do is we actually want to remove this portion here, and we're going to add a hopper. Now I'm very bad at explaining comparators. I have a general idea of how to use them, but explaining them is a different story. So what I can tell you is once you place in, let's go ahead and we're going to place this hopper here for now. So what we're going to do, a non-stackable item is going to let off a redstone output of 3. So if we go ahead and place 1 in the hopper, there's 3. 2 is going to be 6. 3 is going to be 9. And then, of course, 4 is going to be 12. And then a full hopper is going to be 15. So what we're going to do is we are going to use those mechanics to change our difficulty. And what we're going to do is we're going to place the target block back. The target is back in, and let me try my best to explain how to make this easier. Again, comparators are something I haven't really had to explain much in my videos, but let's go ahead and place in our non-stackable items. So let's make it 3. That is going to give us an output of 9, and let's go ahead and make it 12. So again, each non-stackable item is 3 signal strength, so 3 times 4 is 12, as I showed earlier. Now, for the explanation, how this works is if the output from here on the target block is greater than 12, we will get a redstone output. So if we hit 13, 14, 15, we are going to get a redstone output. Anything less than that is not going to register. So if we try to hit the outside, nothing, nothing, and as we get closer, so there was a 13, I think. Do it again. That's a 14. And you can see already you don't need a bullseye to actually get a redstone output. There is a little bit of grace there with 13, 14, and 15. And again, if we remove one more, so we have an output of 9. So as long as the output we hit here is greater than 9, we are going to light this up. So that means we can hit further out on the target like this. Okay, not that far. But right there. So there, like I said, whoops, there is a little bit more room to miss. And this is probably better if you're using snowballs or something like that. We're going to take away another one. This output needs to be greater than 6 now. So we should be able to hit this spot and light it up. There we go. So hopefully that does make sense. And then to increase the difficulty, you would just add more non-stackable items. And we go to 5 to give it 15. This would reset it to be a bullseye only once again. So we can go ahead and hit it. See how close we can get right here. Again, nothing. And bullseye? Wasn't even a bullseye? Let's try it. Bullseye, come on. There we go. And that's how that works. Again, if you want to make it easier, you have less non-stackable items. And again, what that does is it's a little bit more forgiving. So you don't need a full-on bullseye. And then, of course, to increase the difficulty, you would add more non-stackable items. And there you have it, everyone. An easy-to-make, yet challenging dunk tank for Bedrock Edition. This is the end of today's Redstone tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Rogue Fox, and I will see you later.